everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's see. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like or dislike button. Did everybody survive today? That was a doozy of a day. Christoph, NASDAQ kaput, what a difference a day can make. Yeah, it looks like we're getting strong rotation out of lots of tech into other stuff because the S&P still held up decently off the bottom of the rotation zone. NASDAQ just got obliterated. Dow held up pretty decently too. I hope they're still hiring it at the good old McDonald's. If not, check Amazon. Okay, we're all going. What people got destroyed today, and we're getting other jobs, huh? What a difference! My mama said there'd be days like these. Whew. So yeah, it was some interesting little follow through in the European session and everything from yesterday, and then kaboom, Nasdaq to 15,300 soon. Well, we will take a look at that. Let's start with the S&P though. S&P running up to new all-time highs. You see now we can move our retracements over and then just getting obliterated during the U.S. session. Remember, we had a cluster right by the most recent highs, getting through that and then kaput. Holding the rotation zone still and closing back around this 46.63. The end of the day price action was sort of bullish, sort of. You can see here coming back down. I also put on the retracements, these purple retracements, because the line in the sand now, based off of where we've done with this little reversal for the S&P, is 45.86. Our first warning sign would be back to neutral if it did close below about 46.45, but still holding the rotation zone. So it's still in bullish mode. Still in bullish mode up there. Just to clarify something, when you start seeing this, even though the bullish line in the sand is here, you still wait for trade signals. You just don't buy things all the way down. Okay, so it was bullish, up all until European, and then we started to roll over about 6 a.m. Central Time, and we got some pretty decent selling, especially coming in waves, right off the bat, and then we had another major wave down. What does that mean for me tomorrow? I'm just looking where 46.63 is. I'm still going to keep this level about the same. I'll be a little more aggressive tomorrow. 46.77. Remember, it is monthly options expiration and futures tomorrow. So keep that in mind. We could get still interesting and volatile tomorrow. December expirations are normally pretty volatile, so keep that in mind. In mind with your trading, and if it's not a clear trend day and you don't need to do anything, you might want to sit on your hands. Let's check the bigger time frames. 4 hours back to neutral. Daily is still in bullish mode. To the upside, need 46.77 to get bullish tomorrow. I'm just looking. There's no other major signals on the 4 hour. I'm just looking for other major signals. 1 hour's nothing. And 15-minute, there's still no key bottoming signals. It was just this little price action at the end of today. Really pay attention to this 46.77 level. That's going to be pretty key tomorrow. Above that, about 46.90. Then I will have to target right around, with this selling pressure today, about 4,700 to 4,703. Remember I said yesterday I was still wanting to close. We cannot get a close, even with this new high. We cannot get this key closes really. I said I wanted something around this 47.20. We couldn't even get a close of 47.05 yet. It's just there is just selling pressure above here. So really keep managing stops until we can get a concrete close above here. You have to manage stops and don't take anything for granted. You know, when I was watching this in European sessions, I'm like, oh wow, it's run away, and then by the time I'm in the chair ready to do something, we had already reversed all that and had already broken below this 4,700 area again. To the downside, if we start trading below 46, about 46.46 tomorrow, then I'm targeting 46.21. Below that, I'm at 4,600. 46, I say 46.21 to 46.17. That's the 50% run up from this little low back on the 3rd of December to the 16th. And below that, 4,600. We start breaking below 4,600 again. Not good. It's not good if you get back below, even before you get to 62.5%. It's not good especially if we get below that 50 again in this 4,600. That would not be a good sign. Then I'd be shifting pretty much to bearish mode. To the upside again above about 47.03. I'm just gonna focus on this 47.22 high. Then today's high area 47.40. We saw the cluster up there. We had 47.43. I'll be watching about 47.40. Then 47.52 to 47.55, and then above there is 47.71. Thank you very much, Lions. Hope you survived the day just fine. And I thank you for being here and learning and, participating in our preparation. So even with days like this, you gotta still prepare and dust yourself off if you had a bad day and get up and start tomorrow trading anew. And again, remember, always trade with your stops. NASDAQ, I updated with this little push up earlier from this key low to this key high. 62.5 level, just closing below it. And it's in bearish mode technically. It's already entered in bearish mode, and it's been the weakest. It's been the coldest of the porrages. So of the three bears and their porrages. So this is going to take something. My aggression level on anything NASDAQ related has gone way down with this kind of price action. At this point, it would have to first get a move back above about 16,100 on a closing basis to even get back to a neutral mode for me. And to get into a bullish mode, it needs to get a close above this 16,420 area. So that's key line in the sand. I mean, this was just a huge range day. What was it off today? 2.5%, where your S&P is only down 0.8 and your Dow is pretty much neutral on the day. So really taking this, look at this selling pressure. I mean, this is the 1 hour chart. You didn't get a pausing bar till noon, and you didn't get back-to-back greens until the very end of today. I mean, that is just absolutely brutal selling pressure today. When you get this, I mean, you see this on the 15-minute. I mean, it's not even getting into the 15-minute rotation zone till the very end of today when it was trying to slow down, and you got some short covering into the close. Let's see. Also, you had names like Apple. Apple confirmed a double top, but did not trigger it. We will take a look at that. So let's see. Tomorrow, I'm just trying to see where some key levels are. I mean, I'm going to have to use about 16. I'll get intraday bullish if there's some trending action above 16,000, but that's only on trending action. If we're choppy back and forth, then forget it. Forget it with that. But that's going to be a pretty key area tomorrow for me on the upside. Just looking at the other time frames of, I mean, 4 hours bearish, daily's bearish. So it's got to start proving itself to the upside. Then 16,000 above that, we just didn't have. I mean, there's just nothing. We have a clear path move. What's interesting is if you start getting above this 16,000 area, you just have a clear path move. So we had a clear path move into this. And remember, we started closing back into this. There's just no stopping points. Your first stopping point to really target, besides some intraday price action, was this 15,944. And you see there, it sliced through there. That became resistance. And it rolled over, retesting that area, and then still not getting through it. So I'm going to bump this up. First little target to the upside, 15,945. Above there, 16,000. Above 16,000, I'm then going to have to target right around this 16,100. About 16,090 to 16,100 is my next target to the upside. Beyond there, wow, this is just a mess. 16, it's got a lot to work through still. My next target above there would be about 16,160 to about 16,167. Then if we got above there, I'm back to right around 16,400, 16,393. My real concern is to the downside, though. You still have some buying pressure stepping in. You see these last three candles, and this was the first hint I talked about, the bottoming candle. We then had the Fed announcement, and we still get this buying pressure in here. But if we start getting below on a closing basis about 15,767, then that's really bad. If you want to play a little conservative, 15,717. If I get below there, I'm just going to the lows. 15,5, about 5, what was the low? 15,538. And below 15,538, see what we got here. Then intermediate about 15,384 for the time being. Then I'm back to the 62.5% of this run up, which would be extremely, extremely bearish. You start getting below that, because then I'm watching for a return possibly to the October lows, 15,270. Well, hello, Wavy. Better late than never. Yeah, quite the reversal day. You don't have to tell me that. Whew. That was. Now, we'll get back to a couple other things, because a couple of the NASDAQ things that did trigger buy patterns are still in effect even with this pullback. So we'll take a look at some stuff with that too before this live stream's done. Dow, which held up the best. Dow actually still, watch this though. Let me remove some of this for a second. I'm going to be paying very close attention to this in the Dow, because we do have a potential double top now. So it closed below 35,274. I mean, it's reversal back down. Then take some of these off. We'd be looking at 34,896, 34,707, 34,518, which is right where a 200 simple is. So pay really close attention to yesterday's low. Not only would it wipe out this reversal from the Fed move, it would trigger this potential double top still. It's a little sloppy with this sideways actions, but I would not ignore this one at all. So that's key. You see Dow was technically in bullish mode all day, but it was just there were no great signals to the long side. There was nothing. This was a little bottoming key reversal pattern. That's why I'm going in tomorrow slightly bullish. So to the upside though, where do I need my level to be? It's got to prove itself a little more tomorrow. Look in here. Let's see where that's going to be on the, all right. Bullish mode for me tomorrow is about 35,900, 35,909. Then I'll start watching for a bullish mode tomorrow, but until then, it's got to get above this key little level. Maybe 35,887. We start getting above there. I can watch. I can really start paying close attention to it. But then 35,909 above there, that'll take it above this little reversal shelf that held, and that was a little double top also. See here, that did play out. So that's why I'm watching it. Yet that was the only thing in the Dow going on today. It had that little mini double top. And I'm considering it reversing this whole thing. This wasn't a big enough rotation, so that was the only really downside play in the Dow today, but it completed that and we bounced off it rather nicely. So let's see. Tomorrow, key levels I'm paying attention to the downside, we start breaking down about 34, 35, 457, 35, 460 area. Below there is just 35, 274. And below that, then I'm watching the double targets. I'm just going straight to the double targets. And the first one's pretty close to a significant area. So 34,896, 34,707, 34,518. To the upside, couldn't get to that first target yet. Let me clean up some of this though. Oops. Didn't want to remove that one. Wanted to see where we are right there. Yeah, that's right there. So above that 35,909 area, 36,030 to 36,100 is going to be a little key minor area, but then above that 36,201, the major cluster is 36,306. All right, I just forgot to change my tags again. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let's take a look at Apple. I hope this stream's coming through too. I'm on my backup internet connection. I mean, it's actually it's a T-Mobile 5G connection with a home modem. But sometimes the upload is a little slow for the streaming, so I hope the streaming's coming through all the way. My main connection, my Comcast Xfinity, got destroyed last night in the major windstorms. We were getting over 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts here. So, but that's why I talked about that before. That's why, and I talked about not doing it because the actually AT&T DSL and the Comcast cables run both overhead, and they were both taken out. So that's why I didn't have a DSL backup, because that would have been gone too. That's why I kept something. I've talked about that. Completely different technology-wise, because if I had just had the DSL backup, it would have taken out both the cable and the DSL connections. So, Apple did not trigger this. I'm watching it on the 4-hour and the daily. You can see this just closing right above the 4-hour rotation zone. It confirmed it, but it did not trigger it on a 4-hour daily basis. I was not watching the 1 hours, just horribly sloppy in there. So I need a trigger on the 4-hour or the daily. What's interesting, you get a pullback in here. 167.75 is the first little target at the bottom of the daily rotation zone. But you get below that, look where this takes it back to, straight to the weekly rotation zone. So that's could be an interesting, even if you don't want to trade on a daily basis, if Apple starts selling, we could easily come back down here to 163.28. So that could be some good intraday price action downwards for put plays or bearish plays or even shorting the stock. But on a 4-hour and daily basis, it has not triggered yet. And we did talk about how I was not bullish on this at all because it's still so overextended from its rotation zone. Actually, we start getting back to finishing this double target off. Still, we have a gap fill below that. Full gap fill would be down to 161.84. So even below this 163.28, if there's enough momentum, you get the gap fill, and then I'd be interested if we did get some bullish setups again. What else do we? Roku and Facebook. Roku. Have to adjust this. Actually, Roku just triggered a buy entry today. So that could be easily, if you want to play that intraday, it triggered a buy entry. The stop would have to be below yesterday's low. But that's sort of an interesting play for Roku. Just seeing here, we need to update some of this, and I need to go back to reverse harmonics. Roku, definitely do not ignore, though, if you're playing that to the bullish side. This 230 to about 232 area is a great area to move up the stop. And we do longer term. Let's see if that works out. Let's see. Because this could be another one. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this one. Yeah, that's a potential double too. That's a potential double. So this could be an interesting play to the upside. I'm going to have to do a little more analysis on this for myself. But we have a aggressive buy entry here. It gets through the daily rotation zone. Definitely with that aggressive buy entry, to have to move up the stop, especially around this 232, 233 area. That could even be used to lighten up a little bit and then try to roll something in and then re-add if it triggers back above 266.05. Because there's still this declining 50. You still have overhead resistance. So it has a lot of work to do, but I'm just going to keep a very close eye on this. So that's a little thing. Now below this, below here, if you break down and it does not hold that low from yesterday, then it's, I'm just seeing where we, because I'm just taking a look at this bigger term picture here. That's the short term. Wow. Yeah, that would, if that does not hold those lows, I would be very cautious of it. But there is that minor bullish play. So that's your Roku. I'm going to keep an eye on this, add it to my watch list tomorrow. Yeah, there was this big, I used to have that on a chart, didn't I? I thought I did. Where do we hit on that? We haven't even hit the first target. You can even trade that off the weekly. It is, but you could get these bullish rallies. I mean, theoretically, this could come up to. So this is just a minorly bullish play, but it could even come up to really not even trigger this double and then just roll back over. That's where I'd be cautious if these lows are taken out. It's all bets are off, even without seeing that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Does that make sense now to you, Benjamin? Does that? So you can do stuff. Benjamin actually reached out to me via email. That's why, and I was going to do Apple even before you reached out. But does that make sense that you can still play it? I know you play some things shorter, but you can still take advantage of that double with those targets if we get downside momentum. So, yeah, keep an eye on this with Roku. Even if I'm gonna keep watching this for this bullish bounce, but if that rolls over, it's definitely something that there's continued bearish play. Thanks for reminding me about that double. What else do we have? Yeah, it looks like there's getting to be a pretty big rotation out of some tech. Let's see what else we have. Facebook. Facebook remarkably holding up well. We might get a rotation back into something like a Facebook. Facebook's held up very well with this selling pressure. Don't have any short-term signal on this yet, but just based off of relative strength, with that NASDAQ just getting absolutely crushed and Facebook down, you know, but not, I mean, just getting a slight close. Post market, it looks, where's my level? 335.85. Post market is just slightly trading below that. I'd really get interested in Facebook if we can take out today's high, even on an intraday basis, not like a 5 minute close, but start to take out today's high. When I talk about that, you take out today's high, retest it, and then move back up. So even on a short term basis, take out the high, retest the high, and then roll back up. It's interesting for a bullish play in my book. That is interesting for a bullish play. Where you don't want to see it get a close back below, at that point, I'm out of anything considering bullish with Facebook if we get below 327.64 on a closing basis. Until that would happen, Facebook, it's in no man's land right now. But again, you get a rotation up above this trend line and above today's high. I'm then shooting for 350 area. Then above that, then you're out of this major resistance area. You're above the trend line defining point. This might become the new defining point tomorrow if we don't revisit it today. If you want to know what the defining point is, we have some videos on that on the YouTube channel. And then, yeah, this could definitely get interesting to the upside. Gonna keep an eye on that, but it needs to prove itself. Let's see what else we have. Coinbase is just, I mean, that's just a disaster mode right now. Wouldn't touch this thing at all. Just want to see where the next key lower levels are. Yep. So you break down below 242.26. We're at about 226.43 to 224.92. And then below that, we have, look how well these harmonics are lining up with these significant areas, 212.93 to 210. But this is just against the weekly rotation zone. And so rallies, watch for rollovers in coin. Micro strategy. Ooh, that's at a tenuous situation right now. Look at this. Wow. You get a daily close below that level. Watch for this gap fill. Watch for that. Wonder how the harmonics play out with that. Oh, look at that harmonic right with that gap fill. So you start breaking down, you got to close. Well, first of all, you got to close below about 565. That's a pretty severe line in the sand for MicroStrategy, and you can see how well that level's held up. So this little dip below it, and then just came resistance, but then it came support again. That turns into resistance again, and watch out. Get below 540.48. I'd be targeting this 505 to the full gap fill, which would be down to 501. So 501 to 505. You get below there, and that's not a bad next level either, this 460, 462 area. What else? Okay. we'll see. Once I get that coming through H&M 14, I'll send you out the link to join Discord. No, we'll go through that. Let's take a look. Microsoft, I know this. Microsoft is pretty much kaput. Microsoft is kaput with this breaking below those lows. That was just a reversal slam, and that's now in a very tenuous situation. I have to aggressively move up some stops in Microsoft now because we could be, and Microsoft is a pretty much bellwether, but we start breaking back below this. I'm then watching for a return to the bottom of the weekly rotation zone, and that's why you use stops. Bullish entry yesterday, wiped out in one day. Let's see, AMD, did not look at that. AMD is still in play. AMD's actually held up a little better. So AMD, until it gets below the low from the 14th, is still in play. So there's nothing wrong with that one. And then NVIDIA is still fine with this low of December 14th. Let me take a look at Microsoft. Did I? Yeah, that one's done. But NVIDIA, just double checking and make sure I didn't misread something. NVIDIA, unless you get a move below this low of 272.50, it is still in play, but that is an ugly bar, wiping out all of yesterday. So, and I have to start moving some stops in NVIDIA also. So out of those three, two are still viable. Let's see, Wavy, Discord is great, and I would recommend it to everyone who hasn't joined already. It prices peanuts compared to value and the support to the channel. It does do some Adobe. Adobe, I know they had earnings and missed. That said, I was going to take a look at that. I took a look at it earlier today. And that's a real clear line in the sand right here. You don't want to see Adobe close below about here. About 558, close below that, not good for Adobe. There could be a very super aggressive bounce play, but it's now, I wouldn't touch it. It's below its 200. This would have to make a solid bottoming formation for me to touch anything. And we start breaking down and get that close below 558, 538, 520. Now, one FedEx came today. Today, hitting the second target on the double, and look where it's trading now. So that is over because their earnings, they just destroyed earnings. Nice 12% upside surprise and a nice nearly 5% revenue upside surprise. So I'm going to be watching for any key pullback trades on this, especially, if we get any pullbacks to around 247.50. I'm going to be watching with this. So we'll have a monster gap at this prior resistance becoming support. So that's going to be something I'm going to see if that support holds and then makes a rotation up, because then my target's the upside. If I could get proper reward to risk, I'd be shooting for especially this 262 level and then the 200 on further strength. So that's a little FedEx stuff that I will be watching. What else? I think I saw XPEV still holding. It's XPEV is just not looking great to me. It is not looking great to me against the daily rotation zone. It has some work to do to prove itself again. Have to get above that daily rotation zone before I see anything. Did I check out this double before? XPEV is not one I normally trade, and that is a viable double. That's the only thing I see from a bullish side. Theoretically, there's a super aggressive buy on a close above today's high. Super aggressive buy on that, but other than that, the only interesting thing I see on this is that bullish play to the upside, reversing this move. But you need a close above what was the highest high here? 48.37. You need to close above 48.37 to trigger. That's the only thing I see on that. I think I got everything. If I missed it, sorry about that. Could you have a quick peek at gold? Sure. Gold. Gold bullish today. I'm going to see if this sustains. Gold's been doing a lot of fake outs. I was looking at this earlier today. I'm going to be watched to see this about the 1792 area to see if that holds on any pullback. If 1792 does not hold, then it's just another fake out play. If it does hold on any pullback, I will start getting much more bullish above about 1812. Getting above 1812, then we're out of all this resistance. We're into this clear path move, and I can target right around this 1838 area. Then target up to, because we actually have gold in one of the portfolios still, but it's nothing to really jump on with adding more in yet. I have to really see something. This is not a double bottom, by the way. But you guys, this was the first key area of resistance. I just have to see if it's sustainable with these moves, and that it'll be 1812 to really solidify that for me. Hive. Don't trade Hive. I don't. Watch. If you get a close below 255, watch out. You're trading against the daily rotation zone. This is a mess. What a mess. Let's see, harmonics. So that hit that. Yep, you start getting below this. My first for a closing basis is 255. You start breaking down below 249 intraday. I'd watch if that starts becoming intraday resistance. Your major level then is down to your next major level is 210 on that. In order for me to get anything bullish on this, just take a look at the bigger picture. Anything bullish would have to start getting back above. Yeah, we got a significant level there. 331. But because then you'd be out of the way of the daily rotation zone also, but until then it'd be sitting from the bullish side, it'd be sitting on my hands. The only thing is now to the bearish side for watching for further breakdown. And then finally, Bitcoin. Geez, it's been a long day, sorry. And to wake up and deal with internet stuff and deal with cables flapping in the wind outside. Bitcoin is still, nothing's changed. I can probably take this off now. We don't need to keep leaving that on there. Bitcoin, until it can get back above the daily rotation zone, it's just it's a drag. I mean, it filled those those key that key double top pattern. If we start breaking down below this 44,900 area, sorry, 40, 46, what is that? 47, 46, 717, 46, go to 46,700 since the cryptos love the round numbers. Start getting back down below there, especially on a closing basis. Then I'm targeting this 44.9. Then nothing else has changed. All my key levels have not changed. I have to update these. We have been out of bullish mode for so long. The only way I'm getting into, again, starting to get interested from a bullish side, we start getting above about 50,625. Still, that would be aggressive because we're still in the daily rotation zone. Conservative would be about 51,500. But then we're slamming into some other key levels. So I can only get minorly, very minorly bullish. Just, whew, that's just ugly still. And there's no great signal on it yet. It's sort of sitting here in no man's land. So if you're going to keep watching this, watch this 50,625 area to about 51,430. You get a close above 51,430, you can maybe get minorly bullish to about, but then you have a 53,700, then about 56,280. So you have all these stopping points on the way back up. I'd rather see a run up and then a pullback and a key and a nice key rotation back up. That would get me into somewhat more bullish mode. Yeah, it's starting to fill up with more and more. And I think I'm going to call it a day for right now. Thank you for being here. I have to now get ready to go for a Tesla live stream. Tesla, which was just a bloodbath from the bullish side today. The only thing was the bear side. So thank you all for being here. Again, if you want to join me in the Tesla live stream in about 15 minutes, that will be going off. Until then, again, invite your friends, let people know about this channel if you think it will help them. And if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and clicking on that like button. And I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.